Hey everybody, Kate here. Oop! I almost dropped the phone. Okay, so I just spent a little while typing up all the different topics that we have for today, and I have everything ready. I have a lot of things to say about these, so thank you all for your questions. I got a few via email and a few in the group, so awesome, lots of good stuff to talk about today. So I think the first one I want to hit is Mimi's call. By the way, if you're new to the group, I'm Kate. I do these every Thursday. I basically take the questions that I get throughout the week, and then I come in here and I do a live about them. So it's my way to kind of bundle up all these questions and answer them in a way that's helpful for everyone in the group so that you can all see it. You can all come in, even if it's only once a week, see these answers, and hopefully it helps you improve as an instructor. So we got a few different questions today, I think 5 total. So I'm going to run through those before I get started, waiting for people to get on. And please say hi in the comments. I can't see who's joining, but when you guys hop on, let me know where you're coming in from. So the one thing that I did want to mention, in case you aren't on my email list, I am starting to do some free discovery calls for people who might be a good prospect for coaching. And if you don't know what I do and you don't really understand how the coaching works, it's a free call where I can talk to you about it, and if you think you need a little bit of help as an instructor, it's a no-brainer to just sign up, and I'll put the link in the comments. We can just chat. I'd also honestly just love to get to know more of you, so if you're interested, love to have you sign up. They are filling up quickly, so if I put the link in here, just make sure you sign up fast. Hey Angela, hey Lynn. Okay, so I'm going to hop into our first question. I believe it was Mimi who asked, what's the best way to instruct resistance? The same gear number on different bikes yields different torques. Okay, so she had a little bit more to that question, but I'm just going to dive right in. So that is honestly one of the most difficult things we can encounter as an instructor, how to cue resistance. And I'm sure everyone who's listening, and even those who listen later, would agree with that. It is one of the most difficult things to teach because a few reasons. It's hard to find a method that works, whether you're using a bike with meters on it or whether you have an old school bike with just that turn knob. It's difficult to find one method that works, and people make it difficult for us. Our riders, they want numbers. They want us to tell them exactly what it's supposed to look like on their screen or exactly how many turns of the knob. And let me tell you, that doesn't work. You're going to end up giving all of your riders a worse ride if you don't know how to cue resistance. But it does take practice. So if you're new, it's okay. You're going to learn. One thing I can say is that you definitely don't want to teach to a specific gear number. And I'll tell you why. And this is what you can tell your riders. If you don't already know this, it's going to be very helpful for you to understand it. When you have a specific gear number on one bike, and then the bike in the back of the room on that same gear number, it might show totally different resistance in the actual process of pushing the pedals. So if they're not calibrated perfectly, if you, I don't know, it's a little squeaky, if there's all sorts of things that could go wrong with a bike, that it's not consistent from one to the next. So that's one problem. Another problem is you have someone like my size, 5'5", 130, and you have a 220-pound man on the bike next to me. Guess what? The resistance is going to be totally different. Even if we're on the same gear, that's not the goal. So you want them to feel the same thing based on their personal experience and their personal fitness level, which even if we're the same size and shape, if I'm a totally new rider and somebody next to me is an experienced rider, they're probably not going to be using the same gears. So don't use a number. I can say that. I have been in classes where they give a range, gears 10 to 15 or something like that. I still don't think that's the best way to do it. Honestly, above all else, I would say using your best description possible is the best way to go. So if you're describing, at the beginning of class, you're dialing in the road underneath you, you're starting to feel a little bit of pressure against those pedals, but you're on a flat road, as if you were riding outside, those sort of things. You're riding through the mud if you're starting to go up a hill. You got to get really good at describing it for people, because even if you have a system, you could use power, you could use RPE, and I do suggest that you do use these tools in your toolbox. You have to be able to describe it for the people that don't understand those things, because you're always going to have new riders who, as much time as you're given at the beginning of class, it's not all going to stick. So if you can describe it in a way that sticks with them as they're going and they can understand, okay, it's supposed to feel like this, that's your best bet. So I know that's confusing, and I know there's a lot to it, and it kind of depends on where you're at, and we could go through this more. If you need it, let me know, but it is a very difficult topic, and it's honestly one of the, like I said, the hardest things to do as an instructor is to teach how to use resistance and have your riders fully grasp what you mean when you say a flat road, a hill, whatever else. So hopefully that was helpful, Mimi. If you have more questions, let me know, but that's really a topic that it would take hours for me to kind of walk you through the best way to teach it specifically. So that was my, in a nutshell, description. Next question we had, let's see. And if you guys want to chime in the comments, please, I can see most of them. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Okay, so next question. I have so many. Okay, let's hop to Lynn's real quick. Lynn asked about getting out of breath. She said she wants to jog on the chorus, but by the last chorus she's tapped out. She wants to be encouraging, but she's not quite there yet. I think a lot of instructors run into this, and kudos to you, Lynn, because not many people, talk about this. We all, as fitness professionals, we want to seem like we have it in the bag, that we're just like these fit, crazy people that can handle anything, and it's not the case. It's especially if you're a new instructor. So I think we talked about this a little bit on our coaching call, but one thing that you could do is take a little break, few breaks throughout class, maybe every 10 minutes, walk around the classroom. I know as a new instructor you might not be totally comfortable doing that, but it'll give you a break, and you can just kind of walk around and throw some motivational phrases out there. You can use the cues that you have in your cue sheet from me, and just kind of walk around and give yourself a second to catch your breath, and then hop back on. So get them set up for the song, get them in their groove, whatever they're supposed to be doing, and continue to cue them, but take a break yourself by hopping off the bike and walking around, whatever it may be. And the other thing to remember is you don't have to be riding like you're coaching them to ride. Now, I know some people want to make teaching their workout, and that's not what it should be, or you're giving other people their workout. This is just, you're just there to teach. So you don't have to be on a heavy hill. You can show them the positioning and still be on, something easier, so that you're not working so hard that you can't speak and you can't instruct. So keep that in mind. There are a lot of options there. We can work through that more if you need it, but hopefully that was helpful. Next question. Let's see. Michelle asked about some suggestions for what to do on a low-intensity Zone 2 fat-burning recovery class. How do we keep it from being boring? So it's great to hear that you're probably periodizing your training. A lot of people don't do that, so that's awesome. Recovery classes are definitely hard to sell. Riders don't want to hear that they're not going to work super intense. I think high-intensity training tends to be, I don't know, it's what everyone wants now. They want to leave like you beat the crap out of them. They want to leave sweating. They want to leave out of breath. So I think some ways that I do it that could be cool is to just start to incorporate some drills. So, and this was actually, I'm combining two questions here because I got a question via email about what are drills. So a drill, the way I think about it is when you're creating a profile, you have a set objective for the ride, right? You can kind of imagine the map. It's either a bunch of rolling hills, maybe it's an endurance ride, maybe it's mountains, whatever it may be. You can kind of picture what the ride's going to look like. Within the ride, often there are kind of things that we call drills, which may be a song or two where you're focusing on technique, form, breathing. So there's a lot to this, not something I can cover in a short live. If you want to hop on a discovery call, we can talk through some drills, but there are a lot of different things you can do with a drill. It's basically a shorter piece of time within the class where you're focusing on something specific. So I think that would be a great option, Michelle, to throw into a recovery class. You could do some sort of pedal stroke drills, cadence drills. You could focus on single legs. Make sure you keep both feet in the pedals when you do that, but you can learn a lot from that. Something that's really getting their form and their technique and perfecting their skill on the bike, it totally keeps them engaged. They're thinking, they're focusing, but they're not working so hard that they're still not getting that recovery, if that makes sense. So let me know if you need some examples there. I can go through some more, but that's probably what I would do if you need to keep their attention. And honestly, just cueing them through it, I think that's one of the harder things with a recovery ride, is they're not so focused on being out of breath and dying, so they're looking up at you the whole class, and they want you to cue them more. They want, even if it's just like a motivational mind-body connection, if you can cue them through something that will keep them focused, that'll help a lot too. So I think actually, since I answered, Lauren, our last question, how long should it take to plan a class? I feel like I'm spending way too much time on it and sometimes feeling completely lost in the process. Totally get that. Especially as a new instructor, I will say for a while, it's going to take you a long time. When I first started 10 plus years ago, I think it was taking me multiple hours to do a class because I was so focused on making it the best class in the world. And then I got into class and I had so many notes and so many things that I wanted to do that I ended up overwhelming myself because it was like every second was planned. So I've talked about this a little bit before. As we get more comfortable, there's a little bit less planning involved because you just kind of know what to expect. You know what you can say, you know what you can do in those, quote, awkward silences or whatever it is that you're working through. So I would say now it takes me, if I was doing a brand new profile from start to finish, it would still probably take me over an hour. The key is, as you get better and you have more classes under your belt, you're not creating everything from scratch anymore. You're pulling from old routines. You're maybe taking a routine and you're changing the terrain, or you're changing the cadence, or you're changing the music, or maybe you're picking and pulling old songs from old playlists, but you're creating a totally new routine. Or maybe you're creating an entirely new routine, but you can pull a lot of the drills that you took from old ones. There's a lot of different ways to mix and match. It does take a while, though, because you have to build that arsenal. So I know it's painful. It's painful when it takes forever to make, but it's going to make you better in the long run to really put the time in now, because you're going to learn exactly what you need to do to build the best profile, and then you can just pick and pull as you go. So I have a lot of techniques for that and systems for that. It's a complicated process, but you'll learn it. You'll learn it with practice. So hopefully that was helpful. And if you guys have any follow-up questions or you want to discuss something further, happy to. I really would, if they're individual questions, if you're having something specific that you're struggling with, those discovery calls are going to be perfect for you. Like I said, they're free. We'll hop on the phone for 30 minutes. We'll chat about what's going on with you. I'll give you some of my tips and tools for whatever that specific thing that's holding you back is. And really, I just want to, like I said, I'd love to chat with you guys. I see you, well, you see me all the time, but I don't see you guys that often, so it'd be fun for me. I'll put the link to the discovery call in the comments here. And I think that is all and I'm working on something special. It's probably going to come out in a couple weeks, but I know you guys are all a lot of you, especially my newbies, are struggling with creating a profile from start to finish. So I'm working on something for that. So stay tuned. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm going to go enjoy a walk and some sunshine with my doggie. And it's been a wonderful day, so I hope you all had a good day too. Bye, guys.